What happens to your soul while you sleep? Most people think sleep is just your body shutting down for 8 hours. But what I'm about to reveal will completely change how you see those mysterious hours of darkness. Your soul doesn't just disappear when you close your eyes. Instead, it embarks on incredible journeys that could unlock secrets about your deepest purpose and hidden potential. If you've ever woken up from a dream that felt more real than your waking life, or experienced something during sleep that you couldn't explain, share it in the comments. These experiences might be more significant than you realize. Throughout history, every major civilization has understood something modern society has forgotten. The ancient Egyptians believed the soul traveled through different realms during sleep, gathering wisdom from divine sources. Hindu traditions speak of the subtle body leaving the physical form to explore higher dimensions of existence. Even indigenous shamans worldwide have recognized sleep as a sacred time when the soul connects with spiritual guides and receives prophetic visions. But here's what's fascinating. Modern science is starting to catch up with these ancient insights. Researchers have discovered that during certain sleep phases, particularly deep REM states, brainwave patterns mirror those found in advanced meditation and mystical experiences. Your consciousness doesn't simply switch off like a light bulb. It transforms, operating on frequencies that allow access to information and experiences beyond ordinary waking reality. The journey your soul takes each night follows predictable patterns, yet remains deeply personal. As your physical body settles into rest, your breathing slows, your muscles relax, and your brain begins shifting through distinct stages. But something remarkable happens during this transition. Your soul, that essential part of who you are beyond flesh and bone, begins to loosen its tight grip on physical reality. Think of it like removing a heavy coat after a long day. Your soul sheds the dense vibrations of the material world and becomes free to explore realms where thoughts become reality, where time moves differently, and where the impossible becomes possible. This isn't just poetic language. Quantum physicists are discovering that consciousness itself might exist independently of the brain, operating according to principles we're only beginning to understand. During the initial stages of sleep, your soul hovers close to your physical body, processing the emotions and experiences of the day. This is when you might experience those vivid flashes of memory or sudden insights about problems you've been trying to solve. Your soul is literally reorganizing information, separating what serves your growth from what can be released. As sleep deepens, something extraordinary occurs. Your soul begins to expand its range of exploration, no longer confined by the laws of physics that govern your physical body. It can travel instantaneously to distant locations, connect with other souls, and access vast libraries of cosmic knowledge. This is why dreams often contain information you've never consciously learned, or why you might dream of places you've never visited but later recognize in waking life. The destinations your soul visits aren't random. They're determined by your emotional state, your spiritual development, and most importantly, your intentions before sleep. If you fall asleep filled with worry or fear, your soul gravitates toward lower vibrational realms where those dense energies are reflected back to you through nightmares or disturbing dreams. But when you prepare for sleep with gratitude, love, or a desire for spiritual growth, your soul ascends to beautiful dimensions filled with healing light and profound teachings. Here's a technique that can revolutionize your sleep experience. Before closing your eyes tonight, set a clear intention for your soul's journey. You might say something like, "I invite my soul to travel to wherever I need to go for my highest good. Help me remember the wisdom I receive." This simple practice acts like programming a GPS for your soul, directing it toward experiences that serve your evolution. Many people report meeting deceased loved ones during these soul journeys, receiving comfort and guidance that brings profound healing to their waking lives. Others describe encounters with beings of light who serve as spiritual teachers, sharing knowledge about life's deeper mysteries. Some souls travel to what can only be described as celestial schools, where they receive training in subjects like energy healing, creative inspiration, or understanding their life's purpose. But perhaps the most incredible aspect of these nocturnal adventures is their ability to connect you with your true nature. Away from the distractions and limitations of physical existence, your soul remembers who you really are, beyond your human personality. It recalls the dreams and aspirations you held before entering this lifetime, and it begins downloading the specific knowledge and abilities you need to fulfill your earthly mission. This is why many breakthrough inventions, artistic masterpieces, and scientific discoveries have come through dreams. Your soul has access to a universal database of information, and it can retrieve exactly what you need when you need it. The key is learning how to maintain conscious awareness during these journeys and bringing that knowledge back into your waking life. Sleep paralysis, often feared as a terrifying experience, might actually be moments when your soul is returning from particularly deep travels. Your consciousness arrives back in your body before your physical systems fully reactivate, creating a temporary disconnect that can feel frightening. Understanding this phenomenon can transform fear into fascination, recognizing these moments as evidence of your soul's incredible mobility. The quality of your soul's journeys directly impacts your waking life in ways you might not realize. When your soul visits high vibrational realms during sleep, you wake up feeling refreshed, inspired, and optimistic. You might notice increased intuition, enhanced creativity, or sudden solutions to persistent problems. These aren't coincidences. They're the natural result of your soul's nocturnal education. Conversely, when your soul becomes trapped in lower realms due to negative emotions or intentions, you wake up feeling drained, anxious, or depressed, despite getting adequate physical rest. This is because your soul has been engaged in challenging experiences that require significant energy to process and integrate. Your soul's travels aren't limited to spiritual dimensions. Some of the most intriguing research suggests that souls can visit other physical locations during sleep, gathering information that later proves accurate in waking life. People have reported dreaming of events happening simultaneously in distant locations, only to have those events confirmed later. This phenomenon challenges our basic understanding of consciousness and suggests that your soul operates according to principles far beyond current scientific models. The landscape of the soul world contains infinite variety. Some souls describe visiting vast libraries where all knowledge is stored in crystalline structures that respond to mental inquiry. Others speak of healing temples where damaged aspects of their being are repaired by benevolent entities. There are reports of souls attending great assemblies where they receive assignments or updates about their earthly mission. Time operates differently in these realms. A few hours of physical sleep can contain lifetimes of soul experiences. You might spend subjective years learning advanced spiritual principles, developing psychic abilities, or exploring possible futures for humanity. This explains why brief naps sometimes produce profound insights, or why you occasionally wake up feeling like you've lived an entire additional life. Your soul's adventures aren't always pleasant or easy. Sometimes it must venture into darker realms to retrieve lost parts of itself, or to learn lessons about overcoming fear and negativity. These challenging journeys often manifest as nightmares, but they serve crucial purposes in your spiritual development. By facing and conquering inner demons during sleep, your soul develops strength and wisdom that serves you in waking life. The emotional preparation you do before sleep dramatically influences these experiences. Practices like gratitude meditation, forgiveness work, or simply setting positive intentions create a protective, energetic field around your soul as it travels. This preparation ensures that you're more likely to visit beneficial realms and less likely to become entangled in lower vibrational experiences. Some advanced practitioners learn to maintain conscious awareness during their soul travels. a phenomenon known as lucid dreaming or astral projection. These individuals can direct their experiences, choosing specific destinations or requesting particular types of teachings. They often report conversations with spiritual guides, visits to other planets or dimensions, and profound revelations about the nature of reality. The physical body plays a crucial supporting role during these soul journeys. While your soul explores other realms, your body serves as an anchor point, maintaining the energetic connection that allows safe return. The pineal gland, often called the third eye, appears to be particularly important in facilitating these travels. This small gland in your brain produces DMT, a powerful compound that may serve as a bridge between physical and spiritual dimensions. Your soul's nocturnal activities also involve connecting with other souls. You might encounter friends, family members, or even strangers whose souls are also traveling during sleep. These meetings often result in shared dreams or synchronized experiences that both parties remember upon waking. Some souls form study groups or spiritual communities that meet regularly during sleep, working together on projects that benefit humanity. The information your soul gathers during these journeys doesn't always translate directly into conscious memory. Sometimes the knowledge is integrated at subconscious levels, emerging gradually as intuitive insights, creative inspirations, or unexplained skills. You might suddenly find yourself understanding concepts you've never studied or feeling drawn to activities that serve your spiritual growth. Keeping a dream journal becomes incredibly valuable when you understand the true nature of your soul's travels. By recording your experiences immediately upon waking, you begin to notice patterns and themes that reveal important information about your spiritual path. Many people discover that their dreams contain prophetic elements or guidance about upcoming life situations. The realm where your soul travels during sleep is populated by various types of beings. Some are souls of people currently living on Earth, who are also exploring during sleep. Others are souls of those who have passed away, but continue their evolution in spiritual dimensions. There are also beings who serve as guides, teachers, or healers, dedicating themselves to assisting souls on their journey of growth and discovery. Your soul's travels contribute to a vast network of consciousness that connects all living beings. Through these nocturnal journeys, souls share information, provide mutual support, and work collaboratively on projects that serve the greater good. You might unknowingly participate in healing work for the planet, sending love and light to areas experiencing conflict or natural disasters. The frequency of your thoughts and emotions acts like a radio dial, determining which spiritual stations your soul can access during sleep. Maintaining high vibrational states through practices like meditation, service to others, and spiritual study expands your soul's range of exploration. You gain access to increasingly refined realms where advanced teachings and profound healing experiences await. Some souls specialize in particular types of nocturnal work. Healer souls might spend their sleep time working in spiritual hospitals, helping to repair the energetic bodies of those who are suffering. Teacher souls often give lessons to other souls or receive advanced training in spiritual principles. Creative souls frequently visit dimensions where pure inspiration flows freely, returning with ideas for artistic or innovative projects. The connection between your soul's travels and your life purpose becomes clearer when you pay attention to recurring themes in your dream experiences. If you repeatedly dream of teaching or sharing knowledge, your soul might be preparing you for an educational role in your waking life. Dreams of healing others could indicate that your soul is developing abilities that will serve in healthcare or counseling professions. Your soul's exploration during sleep also involves reviewing and planning your earthly experience. In higher dimensions, your soul can perceive the broader patterns of your life, understanding how current challenges serve your growth and how future opportunities will unfold. This perspective helps your soul make adjustments to your life path, sending subtle guidance to your conscious mind through intuition and synchronicities. The quality of your physical environment affects your soul's ability to travel freely during sleep. Cluttered, chaotic, or energetically heavy spaces can create interference that limits your soul's range of exploration. Creating a peaceful, clean, and spiritually uplifting bedroom environment supports more expansive and beneficial soul journeys. Protection during soul travel is maintained through several natural mechanisms. Your soul remains connected to your body through an energetic cord that ensures safe return. Spiritual guides and guardian beings also watch over souls during their travels, intervening when necessary to prevent negative experiences or entanglements with harmful energies. The memories your soul creates during its travels are stored in different ways than ordinary experiences. Some are retained in your conscious mind as vivid dreams. Others are filed in your subconscious, accessible through meditation or hypnosis. Still others are integrated at cellular levels, influencing your physical health, emotional patterns, and spiritual development without conscious awareness. Your soul's nocturnal adventures serve multiple purposes simultaneously. While gathering knowledge and healing, it also performs maintenance work on your energy system, clearing blockages and balancing your chakra. This is why quality sleep is so essential for physical health and emotional well-being. Your soul is literally repairing and optimizing your entire being during those precious hours of rest. The practice of setting intentions before sleep becomes a powerful tool for soul development. When you understand these principles, you can request specific types of experiences, ask for guidance about particular situations, or express willingness to serve in whatever way benefits the greater good. Your soul responds to these intentions, directing its travels accordingly. Understanding the true nature of sleep transforms this daily experience from a necessary biological function into a sacred opportunity for spiritual growth and cosmic exploration. Your soul's nightly journeys are not random adventures, but purposeful expeditions designed to advance your evolution and contribute to the healing of our world. Every night, as you prepare for sleep, remember that you're about to embark on an incredible journey of discovery, healing, and growth. Your soul is ready to explore dimensions beyond imagination, connect with beings of light and wisdom, and return with gifts that will enrich your waking life in ways you're only beginning to understand. Have you experienced vivid dreams that felt like journeys to other realms? Share your soul travel experiences in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more explorations into the mysteries of consciousness and spiritual awakening. If you like this kind of content and want to see how advanced your mind is, you can follow my channel and subscribe.